It's the world's first 6-phase e-motor for automotive use. That's why we can make it so compact and so powerful.
Understand in the beginning, and when you run along those roads of opportunity or whatever, you end up somewhere else, and usually at a higher level than we ever dreamt.
You must have seen headlines like Koenigsegg's CEO, "This mini motor destroys all cars," and wondered how that is even possible. Is it even worth the hype? This new mini motor is what you can liken to a David among Goliaths of motors that have performed well in the past. What exactly does this tiny motor carry to be regarded as a game changer? And what does it mean for Koenigsegg? Fasten your seatbelt as we take a wild ride into the future of automotive engineering, revealing Koenigsegg's new motor that puts all cars on the bench. Talking about cars? Let's introduce to you Koenigsegg's latest product. Koenigsegg Gemera. Back in 2020, Christian von Koenigsegg introduced to the world the latest from his company at the start of a global shutdown from the halls of the cancelled Geneva International Motor Show. And if you know anything about Koenigsegg, this automaker doesn't do anything substandard. He goes big, and in this case, let's just say he's gone mega. Previously, Koenigsegg has only been known for developing two-seater hypercars, but this time, Koenigsegg is doing something new, talking about what you've never seen them do. The Gemera, the first of a new breed. The first Koenigsegg built to be enjoyed by 4 occupants. Yes, that's right, a 4-seater supercar. And with earth-shattering outputs, it's going to break more records than just the number of people it can carry while doing illegal speeds. The Gemera is not just a hypercar, it's a mega car, and it's changing the high-performance game. In case you haven't gotten the real gist, its name says it all. Gemera is derived from the Swedish term which means to offer more, and it will definitely live up to its name. According to Koenigsegg, it will provide unrivaled performance to the tune of over 2,200 horsepower and as much as 2,028 pound-feet of torque. Already sounding like a big deal? Not yet! Koenigsegg has revealed at the recent inauguration of its dedicated development facility, the Gripen Atelier, that the Gemera is far better than whatever we have read in books or whatever we have imagined. What exactly is the force behind this supercar? It's all courtesy of Koenigsegg Quark e-motor. Although Koenigsegg is one of those names that would easily twist your tongue, it's been a force to reckon with in the automotive world for quite some time now. And now, it has stepped up the game, leaving behind the league of its competitors. The latest project that has gotten us all talking is the Quark electric motor. Yes, this teeny-tiny unit of only 63 pounds. Before you look down on it, be informed that it is more powerful than the whole of your car. It is said to develop an impressive 335 horsepower and 443 pound-feet of torque, proving size isn't everything in the world of engineering. This amazing unit, known as Quark, takes its name from the physics term for any of a number of subatomic particles carrying a fractional electric charge, postulated as building blocks of the hadrons. Koenigsegg dubs its Quark electric motor class leading due to its power output and innovative use of the Raxial flux topology, which stands for the combination of radial and axial flux topology. What does this mean exactly? And how does this miniature EV engine turn into a fiery powerhouse? According to Koenigsegg, the company is making efforts to continue the legacy of the Gemera and offer the market a unique e-motor for various applications, including EV powertrains, aerospace, marine, and more. This effort was what led to the idea of the Quark e-motor. Just like the quark that you may be familiar with in science, which experiences all 4 fundamental forces of electromagnetism, gravitation, strong interaction, and weak interaction, Koenigsegg's tiny Quark electric motor makes a unique combination out of 2 fundamentally different motors' characteristics for the best performance. And it calls it Raxial flux, as mentioned earlier. Breaking down what Koenigsegg calls an innovative Raxial flux. It is a combination of the radial and axial flux motors' best traits. While radial flux motors are cheap to create and widely available in EVs, they need more revs to produce peak power. On the other hand, axial flux motors offer more torque on low revs, but require lightweight and extremely durable materials to withstand a lot of stress. So what did Koenigsegg do? They combined the best features of both motors to design the Quark and allow it to produce 335 horsepower and 443 pound-feet of torque. However, it's good to keep in mind that the peak power lasts only for about 20 seconds before dropping to 134 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque. According to the e-motor development lead at Koenigsegg, Andras Sekeli, the Quark uses 300M steel from motorsport and aerospace for the shaft. If you didn't know, 300M steel is a low-alloy vacuum-melted steel of high strength, which means Koenigsegg went all out for this production. It also uses direct cooling because of the high efficiency and compactness and Koenigsegg's carbon fiber technology for the rotor. All of this made the Quark super light and small while retaining solid power delivery, which also ensures the e-motor is perfect for various applications. But trust Koenigsegg to be Koenigsegg. They came up with yet another idea of how to get the most out of its innovative Quark e-motor double the power. 2 Koenigsegg's tiny Quark e-motors instead of 1 for maximum performance. As you must have known, Koenigsegg developed the Quark for the Gemera, the amazing 4-seat hybrid hypercar that boasts 600 horsepower from the twin-turbo 3-cylinder gasoline engine. In this layout, the Quark should support the whopping output alongside the 2 motors that boost the delivery for 500 extra ponies. But considering the e-motor is suitable for other applications too, we expect to see it in marine and aerospace applications soon. The rumor has it that Koenigsegg has been receiving inquiries for its Quark already, but we suppose the engineering team will need some time to test everything and ensure they can meet the demand. Another thing Koenigsegg may do is replace its costly carbon fiber and steel to make the Quark more affordable, but we'll have to wait and see how this turns out in the end. The one thing we know for sure is that Koenigsegg's tiny Quark electric motor will not be available only in a single unit. The Swedish manufacturer also developed a self-contained electric drive unit called the Terrier, which actually composes 2 Quark motors, 2 gear sets, and an inverter. At 187 pounds, the unit also plays the lightweight design card without compromising the power output. The Terrier should deliver a stunning 670 horsepower and 811 pound-feet of torque of peak power and find its place in a new Koenigsegg hypercar, hence the name Terrier. Just like the dog breed, this EV drive unit aims to be mighty and admirable for its small size. If you thought you'd seen it all, you should brace up for Koenigsegg Gemera upgrade. Back when the Koenigsegg Gemera debuted, all that we knew was a twin-turbocharged 2.0-liter 3-cylinder engine with 3 electric motors developing a combined 1,700 horsepower and 2,581 pound-feet of torque. What we didn't know was that Koenigsegg was not done. While opening his factory expansion, Koenigsegg announced a twin-turbo 5.0-liter V8 as a second engine option. The V8 increases the Gemera's output to 2,300 horsepower and 2,028 pound-feet of torque when burning E85 fuel. This only means that upgrading to the bigger engine over the 3-cylinder mill will most likely add $400,000 to the 4-seat supercar's price. But that's not all about Gemera's upgrade. Koenigsegg now installs traditional side mirrors rather than the cameras on the original show car. The change is because the cameras are not yet legal in all markets, especially the United States. The Gemera also gets an optional Ghost package. It adds an extended front splitter, S-duct, rear wing, and more aero tweaks. The modifications to the nose mean there is no longer storage space beneath the hood. In March 2022, Koenigsegg showed off the first drivable prototype of the Gemera. At that point, the 3-cylinder was only capable of revving to around 4,500 revolutions per minute. However, with this upgrade, it should be able to hit 8,500 revolutions per minute. Koenigsegg estimates the 3-cylinder Gemera can reach 62 miles per hour in 1.9 seconds, and the company figures it can reach 249 miles per hour. Want to know more? This car has features like all-wheel drive, 4-wheel steering, and torque vectoring. And also the hybrid 3-cylinder model's battery pack provides up to 31 miles of electric motoring. What's more, by supercar standards, the Gemera has a surprisingly luxurious interior. There are amenities like 4 heated seats, 8 cup holders, some of which are heated and cooled, front and rear infotainment screens, 3-zone climate control, and front and rear wireless device chargers. But Gemera isn't the only part of Koenigsegg that is getting an upgrade. The factory where these amazing automobiles come from has also been expanded. The expansion includes a new assembly area, customer lounge, experience center, offices, event space, showroom, retail spaces, and additional warehouses. Also, Koenigsegg plans to test drive its cars at the factory, so they're also building an on-site test track there. As excited as we all are, the Gemera production will only begin in the late 2024 and customer deliveries will start in 2025 with only 300 units to be produced. Would you agree with us that Koenigsegg is synonymous with greatness? But success wasn't built in a day. This is Koenigsegg's journey from dream to reality. You were probably struggling with one assignment or the other at age 22. But at that point in Christian Koenigsegg's life, he was busy starting a supercar company. He was inspired by a Norwegian Grand Prix movie, Pinchcliffe Grand Prix, and was fascinated with the idea of building cars. But at that time, he didn't have enough capital to start. After his early 20s trading in the food business, Christian amassed enough capital to get financing for what would later become a $1 million hypercar company. After years of ambitious planning, Christian, whose academics have never seen the term engineering, took the idea of Koenigsegg with an initial design drawn by himself. Later on, designer David Crawford built on this design for the prototype of which many of the design cues are carried over still to this day. Amazingly, Koenigsegg stands out from the very first day. Unlike most automakers who share parts and outsource a few to cut costs, Koenigsegg makes everything in-house, even the most trivial of things like the wiper blades. If you think about it, designing every part to their specifics can lead to an optimized product, and this is what drives Koenigsegg's innovation, which hardly anyone can match. From this humble beginning, Koenigsegg has moved to the top spot in the automotive world, making the world's rich queue up to buy its multi-million-pound, meticulously crafted, awesomely rapid hypercars. And these cars tell a unique story of Koenigsegg's journey from CC prototype to Koenigsegg Regera. Let's start with the 1996 Koenigsegg CC prototype. After Christian founded a company that bears his name in 1994, he and his team finished their first car, which used an unmodified 4.2-liter Audi V8, within 2 years. Would it surprise you to know that this car is not even dissimilar to what it still makes? The hallmarks are all there. The dihedral doors, the removable roof panel and wraparound windscreen, extensive use of carbon. Yeah, the proportions are a bit off, but this was the 90s. Next is the 2002 Koenigsegg CC8S. We should just assume that this is Koenigsegg's first proper production car, or maybe not. Its first orders were taken at the Paris Motor Show in 2000, and the 6 cars Koenigsegg went on to build were delivered in 2002 and 2003. The engine was loosely based on a Ford V8, but comprehensively reworked by the Swedes for a total output of 655 brake horsepower. Fast forward 2 years, we welcome 2004 Koenigsegg CCR. This 806 brake horsepower CCR has different bodywork, bigger tires and brakes, an upgraded chassis, and revised suspension. In all, Koenigsegg built 14. Had more been produced, its 241 mph run at Nardo in February 2005 would have taken the McLaren F1's world production car speed record. As it turned out, Bugatti took the honors with the Veyron later that year. 2 years later, Koenigsegg upgraded again, producing Koenigsegg CCX in 2006. Meet Koenigsegg 3.0, a completely new car with very few components carried over, and that's including the Ford-derived V8 that had, until the CCX, powered all production Koenigseggs. Built to satisfy international safety and emissions regs, the CCX had a raised roofline and expanded chassis to satisfy the Americans. The next one didn't take 2 years. The Koenigsegg CC-GT was made in 2007. The story goes that Christian designed his early cars to be compatible with ACO GT1 regulations, which at the time called for a maximum 2.0-meter width, and that the cockpit should occupy at least 70% of that width. Christian wanted to make Le Mans, and the CCGT was the car built for the task. However, 20 of these cars needed to be sold for homologation. But before it had a chance to race, the regulations were changed. Carbon monocoques were outlawed, and the homologation limit steadily rose to 350 cars a year. Thus, the CCGT never turned a wheel in anger. What a shame! Maybe Koenigsegg just wanted to take his time, because the next one would only be announced in 2010, the Koenigsegg Agera. Agera came with many additions it spawned, and the standard car arrived in 2011 with its 5.0-liter turbocharged engine and 7-speed paddle-shift gearbox. Different editions of Agera came, but the Agera RS was specially designed to be the fastest car in the world. And did it make it? Yes, it did, becoming the fastest car thanks to a 277.9 miles per hour run on a closed road in Nevada. Just when you thought you'd seen it all, Koenigsegg launched Koenigsegg Regera in 2016. This car is definitely one of the hybrid supercars. It was launched at the 2015 Geneva Motor, and since then, it generated too much hype among many car lovers and enthusiasts. Besides a regular engine, the Koenigsegg Regera also carries an electric unit that gives out 700 horsepower and 663 pound-feet of torque with a 9 kilowatt-hour liquid-cooled battery. As a result, the car now has an amazing 1,341 horsepower, simply making it the most powerful hybrid supercar in the world. Its combustion engine is a 5.0-liter V8, which produces an incredible 100 horsepower and 922 pound-feet of torque. With its power, the Koenigsegg Regera can reach speeds of up to 250 miles per hour and can easily dash from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 2.5 seconds. It's time for our subscribers' pick. No matter how much you look at this motor, you just can't understand how Koenigsegg was able to put so much power into something so tiny. Many people have speculated that this mini motor is all for the books and may never make it to reality because it sounds so unbelievable. For now, time will tell whether Koenigsegg's CEO's words when he said, "This mini motor destroys all cars," will eventually come to pass. But what we can't dispute is that Koenigsegg has produced the fastest car in the world. You see, there was a time when reaching 200 miles per hour in a car seemed basically impossible, but that didn't last long, and once that threshold was crossed, the automotive world immediately began eyeing the next triple-digit benchmark. It may have taken a little while, but the 300 miles per hour line has been crossed, and some cars have moved well past that seemingly insane speed number. While some of these speeds have been achieved in simulations, there's little doubt that a driver with nerves of steel and a heavy right foot could indeed push several automobiles up to 300 miles per hour and beyond. But if we're going to go by the records, the title goes to the Koenigsegg Jesko Absolute, which recorded a staggering 330 miles per hour top speed earlier in 2023. The car's twin-turbocharged 5.0-liter V8 lays down 1,500 horsepower and 1,106 pound-feet of torque, which plays a significant role in delivering that speed. But Koenigsegg's engineers have given the car a lot more than mind-blowing power. The Jesko Absolute has a super slippery 0.278 drag coefficient and a 9-speed transmission that shifts so quickly it's almost imperceptible. Koenigsegg calls it a light-speed transmission, saying its shifts happen at almost light speed. While that might be a slight exaggeration, the gearbox is impressive, bringing several wet multi-disc clutches and a super lightweight construction. As Koenigsegg says, the Jesko Absolute is destined to achieve higher, more extraordinary speeds than any Koenigsegg or any other fully homologated car before it. Now you must want to know how much the fastest car in the world costs. The price tag is just another dizzying number on the Jesko Absolute spec sheet. All 125 Absolute cars produced were sold out at a price of almost $3 million. Of course, being able to afford the Koenigsegg is just the first step in realizing its full potential. Just so you know, there are very few places on the map that can support a 300+ miles per hour speed run, and the locations that do are not conveniently located. That said, likely, many people who shelled out the cash for a Jesko Absolute will be happy with the bragging rights instead of using the speed. Yeah, you're welcome. The title controversy. The position of the fastest car in the world is eyed by many automobile makers in the world, So you should know that Koenigsegg must have to deal with competition. Back in October 2020, SSC made a speed run in its Tuatara hypercar that set a new record for the fastest production car at 316 miles per hour. However, 3 years ago, Koenigsegg traveled the same stretch of highway used by SSC, setting a speed record of 278 miles per hour with the Gemera RS. Only one of these records is official, and with SSC's effort mired in controversy, Koenigsegg seems happy to remind us who holds it. Taking to social media for the 3rd anniversary of the event, Koenigsegg didn't mention SSC directly. He just didn't acknowledge the Tuatara's record run in early October or make any reference to the company. Instead, it simply patted itself on the back for building the world's fastest production car and celebrating the record for a 3rd year running. In the absence of context, Koenigsegg's post would come across as just an ode to a past event. Of course, the global motoring community knows very well that this post is laden with subtext. The controversy first arose with the SSC Tuatara's run when folks noticed some discrepancies in the video that suggested the car didn't reach the speeds SSC claimed. The fire was further flamed when SSC then admitted an error in the video and the telemetry overlay, causing the footage to not match the speed. SSC states that, though the video and telemetry didn't match up, the speed numbers are accurate and verified. The initial run saw the Tuatara reach 301 miles per hour, followed by an astonishing 331 miles per hour on its return run. The speeds were GPS monitored, and SSC stated in a press release that the numbers were confirmed by data and measurement company Duotron. However, Duotron reportedly stepped back from this statement, neither confirming nor denying the accuracy of the stats. These developments have prompted SSC to make a follow-up record run with more cameras, more speed measuring gear, and more witnesses. So yes, technically Koenigsegg still has some clout with its hierarchy in the speed world. However, it seems likely the SSC Tuatara is as fast as the company claims, and there's also the Bugatti Chiron Supersport 300 Plus that went 304 miles per hour, albeit in just one direction, for an unofficial grab at the King of Speed title. Koenigsegg has been amazing over the years, and a few times they have been crowned world record holder. Not long after the CC8S was launched, Koenigsegg went on to develop the CCR as mentioned earlier. The CCR managed to take the Guinness record for the world's fastest production car at the Nardo test track in Italy back in 2005. The CCR reached 241 kilometers per hour, beating the 8-year-old record set by the iconic McLaren F1. Setting aside the controversial SSC Tuatara, the Koenigsegg Agera RS currently holds the Guinness record for the world's fastest production car. In 2017, Koenigsegg closed down a stretch in Nevada and broke the Bugatti Veyron Supersport's 267 miles per hour with a new record of 277.9 miles per hour using a client's Agera RS running on off-the-shelf tires. In 2017, though, Bugatti set a record of accelerating to 400 kilometers per hour from a standstill and back to zero with the Chiron in 42 seconds, which was unheard of. To anyone's surprise, Koenigsegg Agera RS shattered the record by completing the run in 33.29 seconds. The big success came for Koenigsegg in 2019 when it did better with the Regera, beating its own record set by the Agera RS by around 2 seconds with a time of 31.29 seconds. Koenigsegg is a go-getter as he predicted, back in 2020, a better speed for its newest hypercar. With the Koenigsegg Gemera, it seems his predictions have just come to pass. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.